It's bluebonnet season, but you may not have been seeing as many around town. Stay tuned for more.
These cold-blooded reptiles are coming out in the heat. Catch more on this later.
And is artificial intelligence stopping you from being seen by employers? Stay tuned.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Brooke Deering.
And I'm Jackson Garrett Spring. Well, I have to say, I've really been enjoying this spring weather for the most part. I need to make them stop and smell the flowers, but it looks like our reporter Grace Grimes beat me to it. Grace?
Thanks, Jackson. Spring has sprung, but you might be feeling blue because there haven't been as many bluebonnets this season. CNN's Tony Hamarillo has more information on why us Texans haven't been seeing our favorite flower.
It's unsettling because that's part of Texas. And when you don't have your bluebonnets, it's not the same.
A springtime staple in Texas is looking a little sparse this year. Bluebonnets, usually blanketing highways and parks, are harder to spot around Corpus Christi this wildflower season.
There is a significant reduction in bluebonnets all across South Texas. You drive along the roadways, you'll see a few here and there. Usually we're seeing entire blankets of bluebonnets.
The drought that started last fall has stunted the flower's growing cycle.
And that's when many wildflowers are germinating. They'll become small plants, and then when spring rains come, those plants go from being dormant to growing very quickly and putting out flowers.
Executive Director of the South Texas Botanical Gardens, Michael Womack, says we may see a few more blooms, just not the sea of blue we've come to expect. For Texans, these are more than just flowers.
It kind of breaks up the monotony when it's out there, because you really, see them growing and stuff.
They're just what Texas is about, is your bluebonnets.
Although there aren't as many bluebonnets this year, Ennis Bluebonnet Trails is still having their 73rd annual Bluebonnet Festival to highlight the state flower. Ennis is known as the Bluebonnet City of Texas and is home to some of the most beautiful and abundant bluebonnets in the state. The festival will be held on April 11th through the 13th, featuring live music, food, and vendors. Although it isn't a crime to pick the bluebonnets, it is still best to leave them where you found them so they will grow next year. Also, remember to not trespass on private property when looking at the beautiful flowers. That's all I have. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Grace. While the spotlight is on bluebonnets this weekend, some lights in Texas won't be shining quite as bright this spring. The National Audubon Society created the Lights Out Texas campaign to keep birds safe from light pollution this season as they migrate through the night sky. The Society is encouraging urban neighborhoods plus suburbs to dim their lights as part of the statewide initiative to keep our feathery friends safe. Reunion Tower in downtown Dallas is even participating. To learn more, visit the Audubon Texas website.
From feathery friends to slithery snakes, Texas has it all. And yes, besides being bird migration season, it is snake season in the Lone Star State.
ntTV's Maddie Holston decided to brave the great outdoors and find out what we need to know about what is moving under our feet. Maddie, where are you?
Thanks, guys. I, for one, am not a fan of the snakes, so you'll catch me checking my steps as snake season begins here in North Texas. As summer approaches, temperatures will begin to rise and snakes sheltering from the cold will begin to emerge. Snakes usually come out in the evening, throughout the night, and in the early morning. These cold-blooded reptiles are relying on the heat from the sun to stay warm, so they'll linger in fields, neighborhoods, and trails. If you come into contact with a snake, stay calm and back away slowly, but if you're bitten, make sure you call 911 or the National Poison Control Center at 1-800-222-1222. Now, with 6 different snakes common in the North Texas area, it's vital that you keep your eyes peeled and check your steps when you're out on that morning walk. Now that's all I have on these slippery creatures. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Maddie. Well, Brooke, we find ourselves in April, yet it feels like it's October.
Well, Jackson, you're telling me at this point we might be wearing jackets for the summer. Luckily, our weather anchor Justin Walters has all the updates. Justin?
Thanks, Brooke. It may feel like October right now with all the wind outside, but keep dreaming, Brooke. The rain last week has led to dry and warm conditions throughout Denton. Now, let's look at the temperatures right now. 72 degrees. This is springtime weather, folks. 72 degrees, sunny. It only feels like 70 because it's pretty dry outside. Those winds about 8 miles per hour, gusts upwards of about 17, 18 miles per hour, up to 20. But tonight, most of those gusts are going to go away, it seems. However, those wind speeds at 10 miles per hour, it's going to be the story for tomorrow. But 51 will be the temperature tonight. It'll feel like 47 because of a little bit of wind and the drier conditions. Into tomorrow, 84 degrees outside. 84. That's not spring-like weather, but we'll take it. It'll only feel like 82 because of the low humidity, but look at those winds. 15 miles per hour coming from the south-southwest. Gusts up to 25 miles per hour tomorrow. I'd say tomorrow wear a jacket too if you're not into the wind or if you need it. I'll have more on this dry heat throughout North Texas and how long it'll last in our 7-day forecast. Coming up, Jackson, back to you.
Thanks, Justin. All this talk of springtime weather has a special meaning for those who are about to graduate. It means finding our first career-oriented jobs, and with the explosion of technology, finding that job is a little different.
Artificial intelligence is taking over businesses, and many of them are now using AI to look at resumes and applications before a single human being lays their eyes on them. Our live shot reporter Jackson Berry has more. Jackson?
You guys. Yeah, currently around 70% of companies are using AI to parse through applications before a single human being sets eyes on them. But what does that mean for UNT students? Well, I reached out to UNT's career ambassador, Tiffany Ramirez, to learn more. And she says that students shouldn't necessarily be worried about the AI systems, or rather they just need to be aware of them and shape their resume accordingly. This especially means using relevant keywords that pertain to the job you're applying to, as well as similar language that the job description contains. Now, a hot tip to get through these AI systems is to use a resume that does not include color, graphics, columns, bars, or photos. Now, here at the Career Center, they have a ton of different templates that you can download for free that have been approved by employers who hire UNT students. So make sure you take advantage of it. That's all I've got for now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jackson. Measles continue to spread across Texas, and the most vulnerable are getting sick.
And your wallet will begin feeling the same impact of the Trump administration's tariffs beginning at midnight. We'll explain after the break.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3. Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
Measles have reached a 20-year high as over 500 cases have been reported in Texas. The outbreak that began in Gaines has now spread to over 21 countries, and that number only continues to rise. Lubbock, which has issued an immunization recommendation after 2 students of Tiny Tots U Learning Academy tested positive for the virus. Any vaccinated students were told to stay home for 21 days since their last exposure. Lubbock Public Health advised that infants have their first dose between 6 and 11 months, rather than the usual 12 to 15, and their second at 4 to 6 years. The agency says they have updated these guidelines to ensure rapid protection from measles.
Jackson, we're almost halfway through spring, and I had to wear a jacket all last week. When is it going to end?
Well, Brooke, it's Texas, so you never really know what to expect. Let's send it back to Justin with a look at this week's forecast. Justin?
Thanks, Jackson. Our weather has been extreme over the past couple of weeks. Last week, the rain and severe weather. This week, the dry heat. There I am. So here's the weather currently right now. 70s everywhere. 71 in Sulphur Springs, 72 in McKinney, Denton. 73 is the common number. Dallas, Fort Worth, Decatur, even 70 up in Gainesville. But 77 in Graham, that's the warm spot for our area. But throughout the state, it's pretty much the same. 76 in El Paso, 76 in Abilene, 76 in Amarillo. The warm spot across the state, 78 in Austin. Low 70s across the northeastern part of the state, but as you move further down south, 71 in Houston. The sea breeze is probably cooling the temperatures down there just a little bit, although they are dealing with higher humidity. Let's get to the 7-day forecast here, and I'll show you the dry heat. 84 Wednesday, keeping into the 80s into Thursday. It's going to only get to the mid-70s Friday, but look at those temperatures by Sunday. 87 degrees. And then the chances of rain come back. 78 Monday with a 10% chance of rain. Tuesday, 68 with a 30% chance of rain. And some models are even saying upwards of 40 to 50%. So hopefully we keep this dryness for a few days. We'll take a little bit of rain when we can get it. But over the next few days, let's enjoy it. All righty, Brooke, back to you.
Thanks, Justin. Get ready to open your wallet as President Trump enacts sweeping tariffs. CNN's Karen Kafa has the story.
Some experts say the first place where consumers could feel President Trump's sweeping tariffs could be the grocery store.
Have a look at where each of the grocery items you're buying came from. Where did the avocados come from? Where did the vegetables come from? Where did your pasta come from? And a lot of it came from abroad.
Especially the produce aisle, because fresh fruits and vegetables have high turnover, and many household favorites require some supply from abroad, like bananas from Costa Rica and Guatemala, and grapes from Chile. Also with a short shelf life, seafood. About 80% of seafood in the U.S. comes from countries like Canada, Chile, India, Indonesia, and Vietnam, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Further out, look to coffee prices perking up. The National Coffee Association says more than 99% of U.S. coffee is imported. At big box retailers, the Consumer Technology Association estimates current retail inventories of items like laptops and tablets will last about 3 to 4 months. It predicts higher prices could arrive by late summer in time for back-to-school season. The Toy Association says it's a similar timeline for toys, which they say the U.S. imported by the billions from China and Vietnam last year. That underscores why economists are concerned about how broad tariffs could crimp consumer spending, businesses, and the U.S. economy.
It's a massive tax increase on American consumers, particularly lower middle-income households, and it crushes businesses that sell to those consumers, but also buy a lot of imported product to produce whatever they're producing.
These tariffs take effect at midnight. That includes a 104% tariff on China. Supply chain management experts say a $400 laptop will soon cost roughly $570.
That's the bad news. So here's a bit of good news that could help your grocery shopping bill. Use AI. Abby Dodge has some suggestions that could help ease the squeeze on your wallet.
Some shoppers have a system.
I'm pretty old school and I like to write down my ingredients.
Others let the items speak to them.
So I just kind of like go with what I ran out of and buy other things that I don't need.
But for busy parents, a trip to the grocery store can be a daunting task.
Super expensive, yes, and the prices just keep going up.
Laura White is a mom of 2 boys that eat a lot of food. She says she's at the store almost every other day, but she isn't looking to AI as an assistant quite yet.
Like, not scared of technology, but like scared of AI a little bit. Like, just, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm not that comfortable yet.
KC AI Club founder Chris Kovac is aware of the hesitation that come with AI.
Be open-minded, be curious, don't be scared. It's simply a tool that will help our lives.
There are a few ways AI can help in the kitchen. You can ask the program to track your grocery budget, suggest affordable substitutions, or create a recipe with your leftovers. I hopped on the Perplexity program to see what AI suggested I do with the leftover arugula and chicken in my fridge. I told the program I wanted to keep costs low, like many Americans. It suggested a wrap, so I went shopping for tomatoes, cheese, and tortillas. Pretty cost-effective suggestions. You can use AI as a tool to hunt for deals and coupons too.
Please give me the top Mexican restaurants.
Kovacs says the more you use it, the better the results.
So we'll start to become smarter about what we like, what we don't like, what our budget parameters are, and it'll become more tailored to us as individuals.
Have you scanned your frequent shopper card? Some Kansas City shoppers say they're open to using AI when shopping because of the current economic climate.
I definitely think that we'll have to get a little bit more resourceful with what's in our fridge or what's in our pantry, and I think we also might need to be more targeted when we go to the grocery store.
With a potential helping hand from AI.
Now, what could be better than saving a few bucks on groceries? How about free ice cream? Ben & Jerry's is giving away a free scoop of ice cream today until 8 p.m. The tradition began back in 1979 at Ben & Jerry's first location in Burlington, Vermont. The chain expanded the giveaway to all stores across the nation in 1993. More than 1 million free ice cream cones were handed out in 2015.
Coming up on ntTV, I had the chance to travel to outer space, and so could you.
And it's time to dress to impress as UNT's fashion holds their senior showcase. Stay with us.
Looking to open a free checking or savings account but don't know where to start? Check out DebtQ Credit Union right here on campus. Get your Mean Green debit card instantly or apply for a DebtQ Visa credit card today. Your school, your card. Plus, make deposits at their 24/7 ATM, checks or cash whenever you need it. Make sure to sign up for DebtQ's online banking platform and mobile app for easy access anytime, anywhere. Visit them at www.debtq.org to learn more. DebtQ, the official financial institution of UNT Athletics.
I use Flex to buy my favorite snacks.
I use Flex to get me through my mornings.
I use Flex at my favorite campus restaurants. I love how Flex is a cashless payment method and can be used at all campus dining venues.
So, how do you use Flex?
Jackson, I need to know where everyone on campus gets their fashion sense because I've been seeing a lot of icons walking around recently.
You're probably seeing all the fashion majors, but as a news anchor who's always in a suit, I'd like to believe I've got quite the sense of fashion of my own.
Right, well, you might have some competition because I hear that UNT has their very own fashion show coming up. Our segment anchor, Gabriella LeBlanc, has more. Gabriella?
That's right, guys. I'm all about fashion, and instead of having to go miles away to experience a fashion show, I'll be able to see one right here at UNT. This showcase will be held by the UNT Fashion Design Student Organization, which allows seniors who got accepted into the program after their freshman year to show guests what they've made during their time at UNT and learn how the fashion industry works. The goal is for students to support one another, collaborate, and learn new skills, including how to talk to future clients in a professional way. If you're wanting to experience a fashion show, UNT's Senior Showcase is the place to go.
So the UNT Fashion Show is basically when the seniors get to showcase their collection that they've been working on the whole entire year. So how the program is set up is that your freshman year you learn techniques. Your sophomore year you go deeper into the techniques, and then you see if you get accepted. Junior year is when you develop more of like your own thing, and then senior year is when you put a collection together. And then by the end of that year, you get to showcase it in the show, and that is when FDSO comes in, which is Fashion Design Student Organization, which I'm the president for, and we're hosting the seniors having their show to showcase their looks and what they've learned throughout their 4 years within the program.
It is not only just learning how to make clothing items, but also learning about what kind of standards you're going to be put to in the real world.
So the fashion show really impacts the students because it gives them like that real world experience of what a fashion show looks like.
Usually when you have a desire to be a fashion major, you're going to have to learn how to do runway shows, learn how to, communicate with models, learn how to put your stuff out on the runway. And this just gives them the real world example of what that looks like. Kind of like what the program has set us up for to do.
There are many ways to describe art, but if you're a person like me who likes to see what other people have to bring to the table, the UNT Fashion Showcase is going to be held April 25th at 7 p.m. at the Gateway Center. I'm Gabriella LeBlanc, and this is North Texas Television.
The Fashion Design Senior Showcase will be Saturday, April 25th at the Gateway Center Ballroom from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and doors will open at 6. For more information, you can contact untfdos@outlook.com. From studying what kind of fabric to use to sewing a whole clothing item together, you do not want to miss out. That's all I have here. Back to you at the desk.
From the eye-catching fashion of UNT to the eye-catching North Texas skies, I got to visit the UNT Environmental Science Building's Sky Theater for my own private showing of the stars.
The UNT Sky Theater has been around the campus ever since the Environmental Science Building was built. But many students actually don't know about the Sky Theater and what it contributes to the research of stars and planets. I got to sit down with the Astronomy Program Director, Ryan Bennett, to get more information on how students can access the Sky Theater.
Well, I mean, the planetarium's typically more of like an educational environment, right? So it's an educational outreach environment. We currently do also support the laboratories for the 1052 and 1062 astronomy courses, which are typically for non-science majors. Our program is held up by our students. We've got some wonderful students that we train to give wonderful tours of the night sky, and they really are kind of the backbone that really makes everything work. We've also got our public show presentations. Our public show presentations happen over the weekend. Those have gotten substantially more popular over the last 8 years. And then we also have our private programs as well, where people can basically rent the planetarium. We'll show them whatever show they would like to see, and we always have these Sky Tonight talks that we do. We've actually also done some different music shows here as well. For a little while we ran some Pink Floyd shows. For instance, in here we've got this full dome. We can bring up the night sky with digital precision on any day that we want. And we've got control over time. We kind of get to play the role of God, I guess, a little bit, right? Now we can pretty much put anything you can imagine on the dome. Anything that you can record with a fisheye lens, anything that you can animate in a full dome sequence, it can go up there. So you're really starting to see planetariums branch out into a lot of different areas and not just focus on astronomy. Well, you can visit our website. We have our own website, which has everything that we do at Sky Theater, everything we do at Rafus Urban Astronomy Center. We also have star parties out there on the first and third Saturday of the month, opening up our telescopes to the public so they can take a look from that. But the best place to go is astronomy.unt.edu. You can purchase tickets for Sky Theater shows there. You can find out more of what we do there. You can reserve private planetarium shows and, find out anything else that we do.
With North Texas Television, I'm Jackson Garrett Spring.
If you're trying to find a unique outing, I highly recommend the Sky Theater. It was an out-of-this-world experience.
Well, Jackson, that looked awesome, and I love the idea of stargazing. It might sound weird, but it kind of reminds me of spring and summer nights, which of course reminds me of ice cream.
Well, Brooke, I'm not quite sure I get that connection, but I'm 100% with you when it comes to ice cream.
Right. Well, stargazing aside, take a look at this new eye-popping concoction, a Cinnabon sandwich filled with ice cream. That mall food favorite, Cinnabon, is celebrating its 40th birthday by partnering with Carvel Ice Cream. The target audience for this creation is, wait for it, the TikTok audience. Of course, I think a cinnamon roll warmed in a panini press, then sliced in half and filled with ice cream. Or you can have a Cinnabon swirl sundae. That's a cinnamon roll topped with soft ice cream and of course lots of sprinkles or cookie bites. And you can expect to see actual Cinnabon Carvel stores opening up across the country during the next year.
Well, all this talk about food sure reminds me of all the wild snacks that you can buy at a Rangers game.
Did you watch the game the other day? It made me lose my appetite with the heavy loss, but our sports anchor, Gabby Pippins, has more on that. Gabby?
Yeah, guys, the Rangers are in a tough 3-game series right now, but I'll have an update on them, plus our Dallas Stars and our new men's basketball coach when we come back. The Texas Rangers are starting the season off strong with an 8-3 record, placing first in the American League. They're in a 3-game series against the Chicago Cubs that kicked off last night. The first run of the evening came from a center sac fly, courtesy of the Cubs' Miguel Amaya. Texas had a chance to answer, but instead they let Chicago get 2 more runs, one from Ian Happ's grounder and another from Michael Busch's triple. The Rangers still have nothing, and the Cubs ramp things up with not 1, not 2, but 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th to unfortunately seal the deal. Texas lost 7-zip and are now 0-1 in the series, but they'll have a chance tonight in about 10 minutes to tie things in Game 2. And the Dallas Stars are wrapping their season up with a 50-22-5 record. They've clinched the playoffs and still sit at 2nd in the Western Conference, and they had an overtime match Sunday night against the Minnesota Wild. The first period kicked off with Dallas scoring first thanks to Jason Robertson's wrist shot goal. The second period came and went, and the third featured 2 close Minnesota goals. The Stars made things even with a Thomas Harley snapshot, but a wild overtime goal ended the game in a tough 3-2 Stars loss. Now, guys, let's not forget we're guaranteed a postseason, and we only have 5 games left. The next one is tonight against the Vancouver Canucks in just a little over 30 minutes. And finally, although our Mean Green basketball season is over, the journey with our new men's head coach, Daniel Robinson, is just beginning. He touched down in Denton Friday to share his plans for the men's basketball team, and our sports reporter, Jordan Lindsay, captured what he had to say.
Mean Green, let's go.
The Mean Green welcomed Daniel Robinson as the head coach of men's basketball last Friday.
Yeah, we were able to conduct over a dozen phone calls over last Wednesday and Thursday after Coach Hodges' announcement. Hit the road to see semifinalists in person, and it became very clear every step of the way that Coach Robinson clearly checked every box in our profile.
You know, Jared, and when Jared and Dr. Connor came to the house to meet with me, you know, they say, you know, everything is bigger in Texas. Well, it was a big deal when they showed up. And I was like, oh, this is real. This is real.
Robinson spent his last 3 years at Cleveland State and won over 60 games, the most by any coach in a 3-year span. Although he's in a new location, the vision is still the same. Robinson is already making moves, bringing in 3 players from his former school.
I can't really speak to commitments and all those things right now, but it is important to have guys that are familiar with you, so when you hit the ground, they're in the locker room talking the same talk and helping the players understand the culture and understand how we do things and those type of things.
From ntTV News, this is Jordan Lindsay.
I know I can't be the only one excited to have a coach that led his previous team to 3 consecutive seasons with 20 or more wins, and I hope he does the same right here for our Mean Green. That's all I've got for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Okay, now think Jurassic Park. An animal that became extinct 13,000 years ago is now walking around on Earth.
These dire wolves were born back in October at an undisclosed location. Thanks to their DNA, according to Colossal Biosciences, these pups carry the trait of the long-lost dire wolves. The company took DNA from an ancient tooth and skull to create these Game of Thrones lookalikes.
The pups are named Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
Well, hopefully it doesn't end the same way Jurassic Park did.
Yeah, that would be an unfortunate fate. Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow at noon and tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.